Thank you very much, Nigel. Let me start off by saying that actually I started before 1985, so I just thought I'd put it on record, you know. There have been many memorable things I've heard today, and yesterday I wasn't here all day. But one of the things that really gladdened my heart today was to hear that ISDN still lives. I used to be a product manager of ISDN when I was a very young person, and I was told that this is not for long, you know, go away and find something else to product manage. But it's still there, so it's good stuff. That last session was extraordinary, wasn't it? It really was the culmination of the 3 days. So I just thought I wanted to say just a few words about us as individuals, because we heard a lot of future prediction about how organizations might work, how business models might work. But it is interesting, isn't it? And it came out a little bit in the presentation, is our role as individual citizens, I think, has changed completely in the way we interact with the media. It is a completely different relationship. I would so much as go to say that, in a way, I think there's a shift in power, that the individual, if we want to exercise it, probably has more power now compared to the providers than we did, 20 years ago. And with that power comes a lot of responsibilities, because what we heard today is that as individual citizens, we have to be responsible for the device we use when we interact, where we use it. We have to choose whether we want to speak as individuals or to small groups of people or large groups of people. All of this is in our hands now. Broadcasting is dead, I heard, but we can choose to consume in a way that something similar to broadcasting is still alive. It's in our hands. And more importantly, we could become our own aggregators. Now think about that. That puts a huge responsibility on us if we are to become more like aggregators. And more than that, we are to become our own regulators. And isn't that a change? I spent 9 years as a regulator on the Ofcom board. And isn't that a different scenario compared to what was only a few years ago? And not only does that put pressure on us in the education field, as we've already acknowledged, but actually to think about ourselves as we play our part in the democracies in which we live, as we play our part in the social policy development, which we should all be contributing to. And I think that's the most, in my mind, it's the most fundamental point that I go away with, is our role as individual citizens, and I speak to you here as just an individual citizen, who's interested, mildly competent, but sort of out there, happy to turn on BBC One and listen, because that's my age. But that's not going to be the world anymore. It already isn't, but actually it isn't in such a big way that I think we should all go away and think about it, is what is it that we're doing? And I would recommend that in understanding the environment in which we live and communicating with our friends, our families and colleagues, that we kind of bring that to light, because we probably people in the room who have some understanding what technology is bringing, some understanding what media might look at. Some of you have much more than me, but we are a privileged position that we do understand that. And it gives us an obligation. And I just thought we ought to end by recognizing that we have that obligation. Let me just say, because I have to run away and catch a train, that it's been an absolute privilege to have been associated with FITCE, probably most of my life, but we won't go there, but certainly for this particular conference. And I would really like to thank the two professors, Professor Andy Valdar and Professor Nigel Lynch, and the University of Salford. Without their contribution, this would not have been possible. So thank you very much for the colleagues who've come. Thank you to the old friends who've come, and it's very good to meet you all. And hopefully that we will remember this in its entirety as a very, very effective 3 days. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Millie. That was a marvellous thought to finish which at the end of our conference. I'm in just two or three words and then officially bring it to a close. But Millie's already mentioned that we owe a great deal of thanks to the University of Salford and Professor Nigel Lynch, which I mentioned earlier, Pennine Telecom, BT Sport, BTEE, BT Research, and all the keynote speakers that I mentioned before. One of the names I also want to bring out is for the social program. Many of us have partners who've been on the social program, and I would like to mention that Ray Howarth did it personally, organised all of that, and so I want to record his appreciation of him. But most of all, I want to thank all the contributors to the conference, all the speakers, and all you delegates, both of which are absolutely essential to make a successful conference. So to speakers and delegates, thank you. Well, we've come to the end, and I hope you all agree that we've done our best to address the basic FITCE objective of getting up-to-date information and views shared between people of mutual interest from around Europe and indeed around the world. We have outside Europe as well here. If we have, then I'm delighted, because our objective is to keep going as an organisation with that delivery. With that in mind, I'd just like to mention that the next FITCE Congress will be in Ghent University, 25th to 27th of September in Belgium. And there is, please look on the website from tomorrow onwards on FITCE.eu, and we'll give you up-to-date information on that. There's already a flyer on the desk outside. So everybody, thank you very much indeed, and I now declare officially the close of this Congress. Thank you.